where did he come from? Like, how did
He was a childhood friend that did 18 years in prison for.
Okay, boom. So they've already went down that road.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That I think that would have been better as the second one.
Yep. 100%.
As the second one
100%.
of because I was about to say it has to make sense now. Like, where are these people popping up from? So the first one, he was trying to prove himself. He was trying to kind of find himself. The second one, okay, maybe someone from his past comes up and challenges him, which I think it would have been better if he, kind of makes a name for himself. The first one, but loses obviously, but he puts himself on the map. The second one, someone from his childhood, he's kind of making, but he's still not the champ.
Yeah.
I think he got to the champ status too fast.
Yeah.
I think it should have been okay. Now in the second one, he's still making weight, but he's a prominent name in the boxing world. Somebody from his past comes in, he has to battle through that. Possibly they beat him. Third one, he comes back. Now he's trying to battle back to get over those demons, and then he wins, and then Drago's son when he's a champ, and he's battled through all this shit, all the trauma, because that's what it really was. The first one, he was a foster kid, a bastard, or whatever. So now after he's battled through all this and coming from with someone from his past coming up, and then now Drago, and then now we figure out.
The only thing I think they could do next is like if fucking Rocky has some illegitimate son who gets upset because Rocky didn't spend no time with him and all he cared about was Adonis.
They're not gonna do that because that hurts the legacy and the storyline of all the Rocky movies. All the Rocky movies was he was this upstanding dude.
No.
What?
He was not an upstanding dude.
Yes, he was.
He wasn't like a criminal or nothing, but like the dude had his flaws.
Yes, he had his flaws, but
he's a world famous boxer.
But at the end of the day,
there's some nonchalant nut spreading.
But at the end of the day, he was about integrity and honor and all that type of shit. That's what the Rocky movies.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Look, man.
I mean, I would like that. That would make
that would be the only. That would be that moment. And then you bring Sylvester Stallone back, and he's torn because like. Oh, this is my blood son that I feel guilty because I wasn't there for.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he didn't know about him and he wants to like catch up. And he says, okay, well, if you want to be my father this late in the game, how about you train me?
Mm-hmm.
And now he wants to fight Adonis because Adonis got all the attention and the fatherly love that he wanted that he didn't get from his father. So I can't think of a different. That's like the only storyline they could go with that would put more at stake than what's already been at stake.
Yeah.
Like this last one was like it wasn't a bad movie.
But... Unless, or they can go another route. Like with Southpaw. Have you seen Southpaw?
Mm-hmm.
Where the wife dies, the mom, Donna's wife dies, and is killed by, in some situation, or altercation with another fighter or something like that, and then they kind of take the Southpaw route. But I don't know. I doubt they would want to do that to bite off another.
Yeah, and they already kind of explored the criminal opponent in the third one. Like, I will say, like, it was a mediocre movie, but Jonathan Majors, that motherfucker, he can act. That motherfucker can act his ass off. Like, yes, like that. That's why I still say, even though it was the worst of the three movies, and I think it was a mediocre storyline. I still really enjoyed the movie just because he's good. He's that good.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Majors, that man can act. It's a shame he smacked that bitch.
Smack that bitch.
I don't think he did it, but he got arrested for like a domestic assault, which is sad because like
what's up with all these? Go ahead.
It's sad because like I don't think he did it. Just because of how like confident his lawyers are talking about having footage and witnesses and text messages and like all the receipts. I think it's just another woman trying to But we'll see.
It's crazy because it's a lot of stuff like that coming up, like recently. At least it seems like to me. So his situation. I don't know if you know about the YouTuber / streamer. His name Academics.
Yeah.
There's a video came out of him like pushing some girl. And,
good, lock his ass up.
He's so
put him in Gen Pop.
He's so aggravated.
I can't fucking stand him.
He's so aggravated.
I can't fucking stand Academics.
But
and it make and
Oh, I hit a
dog,
nerve. I hit
dog,
a nerve.
and no, because here's what bothers me about it, right? Is you got people like Joe Budden who also gets on my nerves, but for different reasons. Like
Yeah.
Joe Budden gets on my nerves because I feel like sometimes he's just dramatic and says some stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like Academics gets on my nerves because I don't like his character. Like I don't like the core of his humanity. Like I don't like. Hello. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? It's this is Bruce Harry.
Yeah, I figured that was important. It didn't look like a real number. I was like,
Yeah.
that's probably some Navy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beep. But yeah. So anyway, like Academics is like character. Like he is like I wouldn't trust him with anything. Like I wouldn't trust him with $5. I wouldn't trust him with.
Like you feel like he messy. Like you. That's just,
He's messy. He's just a bitch. Like he's like he feel like he gossips. Like he's like the type of dude I bet would it be like be him and his boys and there'd be some women there and he'd be like, "Hey dog, you remember I shot that man 9 times?
oh,
You
yeah,
remember
yeah,
that?"
Yeah, I see.
And like everybody's just kind of like, "What? No." Like it's I get the same vibe from him that I got from Drake when he on that song "Stay Scheming" with Rick Ross when he said, "You think Drake would do some shit? You never know." No, no, we know Drake. We know. No, you would not do some shit like that, right? But I feel like Academics is that 100% of the time, all the way through,
Yeah.
and it bothers. Like Joe Budden gets on my nerves because like I love Joe Budden and I like his show. He just be saying some wild shit sometimes, but he like for a man that's as confrontational as Joe Budden's, someone that would be easy work for him like Academics, he like gives the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if it's because they had that show on Complex together
Oh
or
yeah,
what,
yeah,
but
I
like
need to
there's
talk about.
nothing about Academics that feels real to me.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like.
he's
So
a
first,
clown.
first on yeah, first on act. I feel like he's one of those people that probably was lame and was picked on as a kid, and then now he's in this era.
I can relate.
Of, you was picked on as a kid.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, man, I know that.
Hell
We
yeah.
gotta come back to that.
Okay.
But he was picked on, and then now he's in this space of where he has some clout. I hate saying that,
Yeah.
and he's just feeding it and taking it too far. And then my problem with from viewing Joe Budden is like a lot of his stuff. I feel like comes from a place of where he feels like he's better than people. It's not.
Yeah, but that's like a standard MC mindset. Like when you are a competitive MC, like
Yeah.
you think you're better than your competition. Otherwise, why are you doing it?
But
It just bleeds over.
Yeah, I was about to say a lot of stuff that he speaks on, and they're not his competition. It's just like these are real people. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Famous or not famous, and I just feel like the way he speaks, he comes from a place of where I'm better than you. I know more than you. I just don't like people like that. That shit aggravating.
Yeah, he definitely has some like knuckleheaded shit to say, but like I think he's funny, right? He's probably the number one hip hop podcaster.
I think Drink Champs is way better than his podcast.
I think Drink Champs has the better podcast, but when it comes to like hip hop personalities in that space, I think Joe Budden is the biggest.
What you mean by
Like the person, like the
you think Joe Budden is basically you saying Joe Budden is more famous than Noriega?
yes.
Nah, hell no. Nah. Fuck no. I'm pretty sure Nori has sold more records than Joe.
Yeah, because Joe only had one hit song.
So how the fuck you gonna say?
Because he's one of those like cult followings. Like he's more recent. Like he has more recent music that like what was that shit that he did? Was it Murder Music or?
I don't know. It don't matter.
But like he's got that underground type. He's got like he was like slightly mainstream briefly, but that didn't last long. But he has always maintained his like underground, type of following. And then he was with Slaughterhouse and signed to Shady, and his name is more relevant because of the drama that follows him, like the drama he had with Shady Rex, the drama he had with Slaughterhouse, the drama he gets himself into when he says some dumb shit on his podcast, like.
He reminds me of a female. Like
I get to see academics reminds me of a female.
they remind me of they
He
both
reminds
they,
me of a.
they both remind
I
me of
think he's just an
females.
emotional man.
They both remind me of females, but two different type of females. Ag is one of those females that talk big and act big, but then when it's time to go, she like, oh no, I don't understand why you acting like this.
Yeah.
So basically, Ag is kind of like a white girl.
Yeah.
Joe.
It depends on the white girl, as
right,
we discussed
yeah,
earlier.
that is true. Joe is like a female as well, where they just like to be messy and just like to create drama, and then possibly could be about it, but when the drama happens or you bark back, they try to hit you from like an intellectual, like I don't understand why you're getting so riled up. I don't understand why you're yelling.
I think Joe Budden is just a man that like feels shit deeply, and he's like a very emotional man, and like he doesn't necessarily all the time know how to like. There's always a microphone in his face. There's always cameras on him.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's got so like he doesn't necessarily know how to properly express or put that out there at times, and I just think he's a very emotional man. I know people that are very emotional. They like love super hard, and they'll fucking ride or die, do anything for you. But
Yeah.
like sometimes their shit it's just a part of who they are. I don't think it makes him a female necessarily, because like I'm a very emotional human. It doesn't manifest itself that way. So like it doesn't like I don't that's not how it comes out of me.
He
You know what
does.
I mean?
He does do a good job. I will give him this. He does do a good job of if he's interviewing somebody or having a conversation with somebody. If they say some shit that's kind of contradictory, he go whoa, whoa, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
and he addresses it. And
Yep.
Instead of just letting people ride.
Yeah.
And spit their bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
And I think he's also good at like giving people flowers when he doesn't like them. Like it's kind of like giving credit where credit's due.
Mhm.
I can't fucking stand that guy, but that shit that was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope. And he's also like he's the reason I say he's bigger is because Drink Champs it's the best hip hop podcast out there.
Right. I think it's one of the best podcasts. Period. I don't even want
Yeah,
to put.
I would
I
say
don't even
that.
put the
Right.
limit
Well,
to
I
the
think
hip hop.
so. I would say it's probably top 20 podcast. Period. I would say it's like top 3, and it's not 3 hip hop podcasts. But the thing about Joe Buddens is I would put Joe Buddens in the top 10 hip hop podcasts, top 5 hip hop podcasts.
Yeah.
But he's doing other shit. Like he's got a whole network. Like he's got things where like he interviewed the dudes that raided the Bin Laden camp, right? Like he's doing like he's stepping outside of just the hip hop,
Right.
you know,
Right.
realm, and so he's just kind of branching out, and like his fucking show is selling for, you know, and I bet you Joe Buddens gets way more money from his podcast than Noriega does from Drink Champs, and that's because the reason I say that is not because I think Drink Champs makes more money.
Yeah.
I think Noriega doesn't get paid as much as Joe does because Drink Champs is a part of Revolt, which is owned by Diddy, and I don't think they have. They're more like networky type. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like because I was trying to I like research or I try to research shit like that because it's almost like what I see it as, and that's a perfect example of a artist signed to a major label versus an independent artist.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like I could see a way where Joe is making more money because he owns his shit, but I could also see him making less money because he doesn't have a machine behind him.
Right.
So I think
the primary generation of the money they make is views, and Drink Champs gets more views, but it's not by much.
no, but you got to think. So Drink Champs, Smoke Champs, they have their own weed.
I ain't never heard of Smoke Champs.
Yeah, they got this thing called Smoke Champs too. So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I ain't never heard of that.
I wouldn't be surprised either way. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Joe was making way more money or Drink Champs was making, because both of them.
And
it
the
would
majority
make
of the
sense.
money goes to Joe. Like
Yes,
There's a much more
if you,
much more production value to Drink Champs. So like all the camera
so
people and
I
all,
agree.
you know what
I
I
agree.
mean?
I agree that Joe is making a bigger percentage, but that's what I'm saying. Like even if Joe is making 100% of 10 million, but Drink Champs is making 10% of 200 million, that's still more than
It
over here.
is.
That's what I'm saying.
It is.
That's why
But
I'm
what do
like,
you think happens if Joe Budden gets the power of the machine behind him, or if Noriega and them are forced to go solo? Like, if you were to either way move to either arena, but put them both in the same arena, either one.
if they start from scratch.
No, right now,
Wow.
right now.
I think right now is unfair. Like if Nori and them to go independent and Joe to go major, Joe would make more money.
No. I'm not saying one or the other.
So if both of them were independent, I still think Joe.
Yeah,
If they're in the same league, because Joe's been doing it way longer. But that's why I say if they started from scratch, I think Drink would take off. So if Drink was independent and Joe was independent at the same time, I think they would take off more because Nori has more connections and he's more universally liked. Like he doesn't have like people that don't like him because he doesn't say controversial shit. He's not messy. Like if he knows something, he'll be
yeah,
like, nah, I'm not.
yeah. No, I agree with that.
So that's why I think.
But also
he has the
Nori.
upper hand.
But here's the thing though. Like, I agree with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it's not solely the power of Nori that is the reason for the success. It's all the guests they have.
That's what I'm saying. That's why.
Right.
But
Joe Budden is doing what he's doing with no guests. It's just him.
I agree. But that's what. Be that as it may, if they started from scratch at the same time, that's why Nori shit would take off way sooner and make way more money.
No, sure.
Because he can get the Kanyes, he can get the Pharrells, he can get the Kevin Harts. He's gotten pretty much anybody and everybody. Right. But Joe can't get that.
But in the now, present day,
that's why I think they make more money.
In the present day, I think Joe is way more powerful in that space because no one is listening to Drink Champs if it's just Nori and.
I completely agree, but that's not the case. we can say a lot about a lot, but
you know what I'm saying, like, but make more money or not, I still think that it just says a lot about Joe Budden being better in that space.
Joe Budden's that has the most views is 6.7 million views, which was with him and Kevin Samuel, which I haven't seen that, so I need to watch that. And obviously, that's because Kevin Samuel passed away. Now, Drink Champs, shit, is probably stupid. Hell, the one they did with Joe Budden 13 days ago got 1 million views. Yeah, they one with Kanye got 11 million views. They one with DMX got 10 million views. They one with Wayne got 9.4 million views. So like that's what I'm saying. Like I agree. If it was just him and DJ EFN sitting up there talking to each other, that shit would be boring as hell. Because one, Noriega don't know how to stay on fucking topic. Two, they get drunk and they be talking about some like. Remember when we filmed the episode drunk? Everybody was like, "Hey, bro, y'all don't need to do that shit no more." It was funny, but it's like, so it's like, yeah, I agree. If they both had the same ammunition, then yeah, I think Joe. But they don't have the same ammunition. Somebody shoot with 9 mil, other one shoot with 50 cal. 50 cal gonna win every time. Sorry, but yeah.
Anyway. That's why I think academics is a bitch.
I don't want to talk about him no more.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with
you. So going back to this, you getting bullied. You got bullied when you was it? Was it because you was the only white boy, or like why you got?
I wasn't the only white boy. Okay. I was fat,
which I didn't know that either. I thought in my mind, you was like the only little white boy that hung around. But go ahead. So
I
what?
was, for the most part, I like 90% of the time I was the only white guy in my group of friends.
Okay,
But I wasn't like the only white guy in my school. There's plenty of white people in my school.
got you.
But no, I was fat. I was a smart ass, believe it or not. Like I talked a lot of shit, and
I see
like like I didn't really get like because I was fat and ugly. I ain't get no bitches. So like so like the popular kids like hated it when like I would make them look stupid because I would talk shit. I'm really good at talking shit.
yeah, yeah.
Like, that's
That's
the only thing I had going for me.
Yeah.
Um, so like when and I was funny. So like when everybody's laughing at the popular kids because the fat ugly kid that don't get no bitches said something that you then you're not like they don't like you.
Right.
I got suspended with the exception of my senior year. Like every year from like 6th grade up, I got suspended for fighting. Whether it was fighting at the bus stop, there's one family where I fought all three brothers. The one that was younger than me, 1 year, one that was my age, and one that was older. No, the one that was older, we didn't fight because like I fought the middle brother like a bunch of times. Like we fought all the time. We had the same bus stop, and like I just didn't like him. And
These other white kids or these black kids?
Yes.
The other white kids.
Yeah.
So damn, beefing in your own. Damn. See,
So
I knew you was
uh,
black.
so like him, I beat him up a bunch of times.
Mhm.
Right. My fight record is really weird because like in middle school I was scrapping. Like I broke the younger brother's arm. His parents wanted to get my parents for like medical bills. I beat up the middle brother a multitude of times. One time he found a switch, like this long ass thin stick, and I didn't see it coming. And he came up behind me because I was talking shit like at a different time, and I was at the bus stop waiting. And I think I saw him out the corner of my eye. I was like, he ain't gonna do it. And he comes up and he's like, what? On the back of my thigh. And I was like, I was in so much pain. He did it. He did it. And I looked at him and he just bolted. So I was slow. I was fat and he was skinny. So I'm fucking chasing him and I can't catch him.
Nope.
So I stopped. He saw me stop. So he ran a little bit more into this like yard. And then he like knelt down to catch his breath. And he looked to the direction of where the bus would be coming from. And when he did that, I sprinted. And I got up
on his ass.
What?
So when did you break out of that fat getting picked on phase?
After high school?
Damn, really?
Yeah, so like
you was fat and got picked on all through high school too?
Mhm.
Damn.
So then my 8th grade year.
I would have never thought that.
Yeah, so like I got in a fight so then the older brother, he was like his younger brothers, they were I wouldn't say tough, but they were the ones that weren't like scared. Right? He was just straight up scared. He was the biggest one of them all. Like he was bigger than me and taller than me, and he said some shit and it set me off, and I went to fight him, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Are we gonna fight or are you a bitch? Which one is it?" And he goes, "I guess I'm a bitch or I guess I'm a pussy," and everybody just laughed at him. I was like, "I'm not gonna fight this guy. He's just like I guess I'm a pussy. Like you don't fight that guy. You let him go, right? Because he's already wounded."
Right.
Like,
right.
you know what I'm saying? So you can go.
So
But then I get to high school and shit changes. Still my mouth is getting me into trouble. I'm still talking shit. 9th grade, Miss Gampel's algebra class. This fat bitch from Brooklyn. She was so fat. She's so fat and she's sitting at the overhead projector and like
was her name Brenda?
no, it was Miss Gampel. I don't know what her first name was. It might have been Brenda Gampel. Like we're in there and like she would like spit like while she was talking and she had like the thick New York accent and like it would just be spit all over the overhead projector. So you could barely read what's on the screen because
God, that
right.
Throw up.
Yeah. So I got in a fight. This dude, I said some smart shit to this dude, and he got up and he walked over to my desk, and I was just sitting there, and he was like, "Say that shit again." And I looked up and I was like, "Man, go sit." I was like, "Go sit your dumb ass down. Ain't nobody fucking with you." And he was like, "Whop!" I was like, "Oh shit, okay." So here's I don't know what happened between the summer of 8th grade and the beginning of the school year in ninth grade because I got up and I squared up and he whopped my ass again. And then he just kept, and I froze. Like, I didn't duck none of them. Like, because I can duck. I can bob and weave with the best of them. It all went out the window that day. And he just kept, whop, whop, whop. Finally, like, after taking, like, 11 right hooks, all I do is I shove him back. And by this time, Miss Gampel found a way to get out of her fucking chair and waddle her fat ass over there. And she kind of, like, separated us. And, like, I just got done being pieced up, right? And I still got suspended because by shoving him back, I also fought. 10th grade. Had a crush on this girl. She was dating this dude. It's a Puerto Rican dude. And we're at lunch. And she sits down next to him, like kind of like across down the same table that I'm at. And she goes to her boyfriend. She goes, "Hey, give me your pizza." And he was like, and gave her the pizza. And I was like, "You're a bitch." Like I just
Shit.
he said, like nowadays though, like I look back, I'm like, yo, if my girl was hungry and she wanted some food and I have food, like I give her the food.
Yeah, that was a nice thing to do.
It was the right thing to do. Yeah. But I was like, you're a bitch. And so this motherfucker rode my bus home, got off on my bus stop.
Damn.
Yeah.
He really wanted.
He was about it. And so he got off. I was like, fuck, here we go, right? And we square up, and he punches me, and I freeze again. But this time, I got the bob and weave in me. So I'm like ducking a bunch of his punches, and then he's landing some, and I end up with a black eye. And I never threw a punch back. For whatever reason, I just froze. Fast forward to 11th grade. So I had
I see why you gotta go to therapy, bro. I got my ass whooped. Bitch.
Fast forward to 11th grade, right? 11th grade.
Oh,
I'm in,
shit.
I have weight training class. So I had a weightlifting class. I'm still fat. I'm not in shape. Like, and I'm not strong. All right? I'm not. We had, like, for warm-up, before we would lift, we have something called 4-way volleyball, and they took the wrestling room with the mats, and they put up a volleyball net this way and a volleyball net this way, and they kind of like intersected, so it made like 4 squares. And we had a volleyball that was literally like this big, and you just had to hit it out your square, and you just couldn't let it land in your square. If it hit the deck in your square, it's a bad day. It doesn't make sense, but one thing I did have as far as athletically speaking, because I wasn't strong, I damn sure wasn't fast. I was slow. I still to this day am slow as shit. But I got bunnies and I got long ass arms for no reason. This kid, he was weird. Like, he's a chubby kid, but not fat. And he was tall. He was probably like 6'1" or so. He's taller than me. And he had like his head shaved, except for like the center where he had kind of like a mohawk. He was just a weird dude. He was taller than me. And here comes the ball. And he was on the opposite side of the net. So here comes the ball. And I jump up and I spike that shit on him. And it's like, boom. And he's like, fuck, right? And everybody's like, oh, right? Because the fat kid who's not athletic just spiked it on you.
Right.
So everybody thought it was funny. So now they think, well, let's see if we can make it happen again. So they would purposely hit it in my direction over to see if it would happen again.
Yeah.
And I'd get above them every time, and I'd spike it. Third time comes around, they set it up. Here I go. I go up, and he just fucking, boom, kicks me through the fucking. It's like, oh, shit. All right.
Damn.
I'm like, all right, dog, you got it. Your feelings are hurt. Whatever. We get to the weightlifting room, right? Now, we're going through the weightlifting room, and I'm working out, whatever, doing this, doing that. But, like, every time he would pass me, he would, like, shoulder check me. I'm like, come on, dog. He's bigger than me, right? So he shoulder checked me. And he's like, God, come on, man. And he, like, kept doing it. And then finally, chubby, fat, short Bruce was like, hey, man, you do that shit again, this will be a fucking problem, right? And that was a mistake. because that just encouraged him to do it again. And he did it again, like right at the end of class. So we're going to the locker room. So the way the locker room's set up is there's lockers on the outside and there's rows in the middle. My locker's on the outside, his is in a row. Therefore, there is zero reason for him to come by my locker to get to his locker. What does he do? He goes around, shoulder checks me. I'm like, I mean, I already said I got to.
You have to now.
So I followed him to his locker, waited for him to turn around, and with all my might, whop, right across his face. I don't know if I got more than that hit off. I can't remember if I landed. I can't remember if I landed.
I thought we was gonna finally get your first win.
Oh, I got dubbed. So I don't remember if I landed more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But like he reached out and he grabbed me by my neck, and I remember like hitting his elbows to bring it down, and then swinging again. And my boy, I'm pretty sure it was Desmond Johnson. He picked me up from behind and just picked me up and just took me away. So this kid, I got suspended for 17 days. This kid broke his I broke this bone right here.
Okay.
And so his shit was all fucked up. There was like an ambulance at the school, cops were at the school. I was in a lot of trouble. And my parents were like, I was so fucking mad, right? Because like, I would always get suspended for losing fights. I got suspended for that bus stop fight where all I did was dodge it. Like, all I did was duck a couple punches and get a black eye. I got suspended for that. So, I'm always getting suspended for losing fights. And my parents would be like, I'd still get grounded. Like, bro,
That's
like,
funny.
it's like salt in the wound, right? Like, oh, yeah, and you're grounded, so you shouldn't have got suspended. Well, now I finally win one. And I mean, granted, I threw the first punch.
Yeah.
But he antagonized it.
Right.
Right? And my dad was like, finally, like, my man, like,
Right.
you're back, baby, right?
Right.
Because all in middle school, I was mopping floor with people,
Right.
and then like first 2 years of high school, it was just nothing. And they're like, "Yeah, you're still grounded though. Like you're still grounded." But yeah, I was grounded for like 17 days. Well, not grounded.
Damn,
I was suspended for 17 days. I broke his orbital. Then I got in a fight. It wasn't really a fight. I got in a fight when I was 19. I was back home on leave. I was driving a Cadillac CTS with no power steering.
No power steering.
Boy, my forearms are strong as shit. And I saved us the whole story, right? But just know I was justified in my actions. And I had a lot of people there. Like Rodney was there, Will was there, my cousin David was there, and I was at my boy's mom's house, and there was a dude who was like popping up on her that should not have been popping up on her. And it wasn't her house; it was an apartment, and we're on the second floor. And I opened the door. I was just like, hey, "You need to leave." Right, because she called me over there because this man was harassing her.
Right.
So I was like, bet, there's about to be a bunch of big black dudes knocking on your door. They're going to get there before me. Just let them in. So we're all there and just shooting the shit. And he shows up. And I'm like, yo, you got to leave, right? Like, and he's like, oh, I need to speak to you. I'm like, no. Leave.
All right.
And he just wouldn't listen. And like, my blood's boiling. Like, my blood, I was already angry, but I was like keeping my cool. Because you gotta give the situation the opportunity to go the right way.
Right.
Right. You gotta let that happen. Right. But it wasn't working. So I grabbed him and just threw him down the stairs. And this made me so angry because this motherfucker like was flying down the stairs. I think he had like 1 foot, maybe he hit like one step on the way down to the bottom, and he like spun around, and this bitch landed on his feet. And I'm like, I don't know if you ever threw someone down the stairs, but that's not what you want to happen. No, you want it to be over.
Yeah.
Right?
Ow.
That's not what happened. This motherfucker landed on his feet, and I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, at this point, I'm seeing red because he's still not leaving.
Yeah, I mean, you just still not.
At this point,
he recovered. Now he got confidence.
Motherfucking.
He's like, maybe I'm supposed to be here.
Goddamn Miles Morales is like. So anyway, I'm walking down the stairs. My boy Will's walking with me. Everybody else is standing at the top of the stairs. I'm going to approach him. My boy Will grabs my arm. I didn't even realize I had pulled my blade out. So he took the blade from me, and I shoved him into the door that goes to the outside of the building. And it's like a little step down. So I shove him into the door opens, and he's got like 1 foot on the bottom step, 1 foot on the upper step, and his back's like kind of like holding the door open, and he kind of moves to come in, and he wouldn't leave, so I hit him. And this is the first time I had ever actually like knocked someone out, and he's went dog. He was like just boom on the concrete. So he hit his head on the concrete on the sidewalk, and then like just a puddle of blood.
Oh man, you thought you had killed him.
Uh, no, I
Okay.
didn't. Maybe I did. I don't know. Because I was seeing red. Like my next move was to just hop on top of his unconscious body and just keep hitting.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then like he comes to, and I'm like, leave. So he like stands up, and then he goes to run, and then he like just his equilibrium was off or something,
Right.
and he just
I mean, he kind of leaking from his head.
Yeah,
you know?
and he's
he
just
got
like-
he technically got knocked out
Yeah.
twice. So.
and maybe yeah, and then he's and then he like gets back up and he fucking bolts. And I'm sitting there like my fucking heart's pumping right, and I'm fucking like my adrenaline's pumping, and I look up, and it's a balcony right there, and there's this old ass black lady in her in her rocking chair. She goes, go on, honey. I ain't gonna say nothing. I was like, thank you, ma'am. And so then I went in and grabbed my boy's little sister's water balloons, and we cleaned up the blood off the. We had to clean up the sidewalk. I didn't want people.
Why
to
water
'cause
balloons,
we didn't
man?
have. There were no hose.
Why you just didn't grab a pitcher of water and take that?
So
out?
one pitcher and then go and then go back up and go back.
Yeah,
No, we
not
just filled up a
fucking
bunch of water balloons.
Man, y'all fucking retarded. So did you and Rodney grow up together?
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't know that. Or maybe
Yeah.
I did. I don't know.
Yeah, we lived.
So did he get picked on too, or he didn't get picked on?
Rodney did not get picked on. Rodney was popular. Rodney wasn't like one of the popular kids, but he was popular like in his own space.
Yeah.
Like he inhabited his own space. Like he had his own brand, and people fucked with him, and the people that didn't fuck with him didn't have a problem with him. He was just doing his own thing.
Gotcha.
He also played football. And in my senior year, I decided to join a track team.
So that gave you a little grace right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I joined a track team, and there was one race where
I didn't get picked on when I was growing up.
I bet not.
Why you say
I
that?
bet not.
Bro, I probably well, I ain't gonna say I should have, but it wasn't like I wasn't the toughest. I wasn't big. I was short, skinny. I don't know. I was what they call it, skinny big, because I worked out all the time. Because I grew up playing sports, but yeah, I got my ass whooped one time in like elementary school. My mama came and picked me up from like the little car, whatever the shit that come around. They get your kids.
Mhm.
I was out there getting my ass whooped, dirt all on the side of me. I go home, so I got a beating for losing the fight. I didn't get beat for getting the fight. My parents sat me down. It was like, hey, we don't have losers in this house. So if you get in the fight, so they first don't start a fight. But if you do get in a fight, make sure you finish that motherfucker. Because if you don't, if you get your ass whooped, then when you come home, you get your ass whooped. That was the last time I really officially lost a fight. But I didn't start shit. I stayed to myself. Most of my homeboys was big as hell, so that helped a lot too. Because you're like, all right, if we try him, we probably gonna have to deal with him, the rest of them too, and they was just. So it was like, it was a combination of things. I wasn't pussy, but I also didn't start shit. I was definitely a motherfucker that goes 0 to 100.
I had some friends that, like, as I got older in high school, I had some friends. Like, I almost got in a fight with this dude. He gives people like me a bad name. Because he's like the guy that I don't know what he is today. In high school, he was the kid that sought out black people and then wanted like to. Oh, I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like he sought them
I
out
see what you're saying.
and then tried to get their validation,
Mm-hmm.
etc. Like, and I went to school in Anne Arundel County, which it borders Baltimore City. So my school was probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes drive from downtown Baltimore.
Uh-huh.
And he was we had like a lot of white guys in my school that like, for instance, he would be like, "Oh, I'm from South Baltimore. I'm from South Baltimore," and it's like anyone that's been to Baltimore, like or lived in Baltimore and knows Baltimore, they don't. Okay, like cool dude, like all right, and like he tried to like sell how hard
He was
South Baltimore is, and
okay.
it's like all right, like cool. You probably got some meth heads there, but like all right. So, and I had like this white dude that like swore up and down they were Bloods. You're white in Anne Arundel County. You're white in Glen Burnie.
Glenn what you say?
Like that's what it was. It's like so.
So no,
All
going
right.
back. So growing up, did you always have this like hip hop swag to you, or did you not get that till?
I probably yeah, kinda like
Cause
I wasn't
I
in.
met your parents, and ain't shit about them. Say like the way they look, but I'm pretty sure they listen to rap a lot, don't they?
Well, my mother, she grew up in Park Heights, Baltimore. Like I remember one time I was visiting my grandmother in the house that my mother grew up in.
But I'm saying like the way they look though,
Yeah,
they look just like your standard white people.
yeah,
But I know they into hip hop and shit like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like the way you dress, that don't match them. Even though they listen to hip hop, they
yeah.
don't dress hip hop. They don't. Which I saw this video, of this old ass white dude, clean as hell. I thought about you. I was like, that's gonna be Bruce when you get. But anyways, so like, did you get that? Did you dress like that all the way growing up, or that was like after?
No, like for the most part, like when I could, like I for the longest time, like I spent most of my childhood years getting my shoes at Payless. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I had my first pair of Nikes until I was in high school, and but like yeah, like I would go to yeah, I'd wear like Bape or what I could when I was able to have some money.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff I didn't know at the time, but looking back on it, it's kind of obvious. Like a lot of stuff I wore was knockoff; it wasn't real.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's like look, man, I was like 11 years old, and I had like the entire Damien 3 verse from DMX on "It's Dark and Hell Is Hot" memorized. Like I'd be emptying the dishwasher in my mom's kitchen. Hey, yo, D, it's D. What the fuck? You forgot about me? And then like, but I was 11 with a bowl cut. Like,
It was something. It was something your mom knew word for word when we was playing spades. I can't remember, but that shit had me. I was like, what? I can't remember what it was. We was playing
dog,
spades, and she was spitting that shit word for word. I'm like,
mom, look. So I remember visiting my grandmother's house, the house in Park Heights, Maryland, or in Park Heights, Baltimore, where my mother grew up. Like my aunt, my mother's sister,
uh-huh.
has a picture skating, roller skating at the skating rink with Pac and Jada. Um, and I was sitting on the porch, my grandmother's porch, and I see this SWAT truck roll up and go down the block, and it was no further than from here to the church.
Uh-huh.
I was a kid, and I was like naive. I was like, oh, cool, the SWAT team, they're out here training, all right. And then they all come around the back, and they're all like huddled up, and then you just hear them go, uh-oh, and they're like, everybody in the house, everybody in the house, and they were like doing drug raids, like on my grandmother's street, where my mother, my godmother slash aunts
uh-huh.
grew up. Like that's where my mom went to, like that's where she grew up.
Yeah, yeah.
Like my mom grew up in the environment that people think I grew up in,
Got you.
right? I didn't like my environment that I grew up. It wasn't fucking all white picket fences and stuff. But I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like I didn't like grow up from the womb to high school graduation. I wasn't in the trenches
Right,
all my life, nothing
right,
like that.
right.
So a lot of people just kind of assume that. But the life that people assume I live, my mom grew up in
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that.
Well, it's an easy assumption when if you ain't never been a Baltimore like myself. and then you see you. Yeah, it's an easy assumption. You got a hand tattoo, you smoke cigarettes, and you from Baltimore. Pretty easy assumption.
Yeah, fair enough. But so yeah, man. So that's and my father
Is your pops from Baltimore too?
now he grew up he split between Maryland and New York. I think he lived in Buffalo. Yeah, so he's like he was his growing up years was between Maryland and New York, or maybe I think he might even lived in Massachusetts at one point growing up. I don't know where that's coming from, but I feel like that might be right. But no, like my dad obviously met my mom. Like my cousin Kyle, he did 7 years in prison up in Jessup for basically for not snitching.
Mm-hmm.
We go out to the bar. It's a bar called Corinthians in Baltimore. And this is a bar that my mom used to sneak into underage. Right? So like she heard me and Kyle were going to Corinthians. She's like, "Oh my god!" Like my dad would take her there, right? Um, and Kyle said, "There's this old head, this black dude. Is like these. There's like a dance hall section, and there's like the bar section, right? Is where the DJ is, and it's a dive bar, but it's big. And in the dance hall section, ain't nobody dancing. They had tables, and it's this old black dude with a chess table and a little timer. And Kyle's sitting there. We're watching him. I don't know how to play chess to this day. And Kyle's watching him. And Kyle's younger. And this dude, this old head is just, not only is he just, to a man that doesn't play chess or know how to play chess, I could still tell he was just wrecking these folks. Anyone that sat down at this table was getting mollywopped. And the whole time, this old head is talking so much shit. And it was so much fun just to be there. And then Kyle's like, "Sir, you mind if can I get in there?" He goes, "Come on down here, youngster. Let me teach you a couple things." He goes, "Yes, sir." Right in there playing. He's like, boom, 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 boom. And then like 45 seconds in, the old man stops. He's like, and Kyle goes, I believe that's checkmate. And he's like, "What?" And he's like, lost. Like he just, something just disappeared and appeared and he didn't know what was going on. And he got checkmated with a pawn. And like Kyle was like, "Man, that's all I did in prison. Like that's how I ate in prison was chess. 7 years. That's it." So like it was just. But this is like the type of bar that my parents would go to that I was a tourist in when I went. Like I have no problems. Like
Wow.
and I saw like I have friends in like some, you know, wire like places that I would hang out in. And I never really had any trouble. But like I wasn't. I was never like a corner boy.
Right.
I was never doing nothing like that.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. It's just I don't know what it is. I know at one point I had a babysitter growing up, and she's the one that introduced me to DMX. DMX was the first rapper I ever listened to, and I fell in love with DMX. And then after DMX came Eminem, and then after Eminem, and then like
I feel like every white person has to be a fan of Eminem. Like if you in a rap, you have to. I feel like that's like a.
I know plenty of white people that don't
I
like
feel like
Eminem.
that's a prerequisite for y'all.
I know
Because I
plenty.
don't fuck with Eminem.
I know plenty of white people that don't like Eminem.
Well,
And I don't like. I like Eminem. I don't like being an Eminem fan
wow.
because of Eminem fans. The stands,
Yeah.
like I can say like, hey, that was not a good album. Like, or I could say that's not a good track. Like, it's not. Or I could say I don't know what he's doing here. But like, the people on the internet, like when it's annoying, they're fucking annoying. Like, Eminem is a godsend, and the reason I don't like them is because they're not like students of hip hop.
Yes.
They like
Yes.
Eminem,
Yeah.
and because Eminem is good, he's got talent, and he is one of the goats,
Right.
right? So that automatically means, oh, white savior, right? So that gives me the authority to come in and speak on this culture that I know nothing about,
Yeah.
that I am a tourist in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like me, I still think he's like, I don't think he's like the best rapper ever when you consider everything that being, you know what I mean? But I think he's the best lyricist ever. Like I think, like I don't know word people that can wordsmith the way he does, and I think he's got some shit. I think he's top five overall. But I can also
Hell
say
no, he ain't top five.
we can get into that another time.
He
We can get
ain't
into
top
that.
five.
We can get into
He ain't a,
he's your
but
favorite rapper.
but
Every all of your favorite
but what the
rappers
thing
put him in the
but
top
but the
five.
thing about it is that I wouldn't like it makes sense that somebody would put him in top. It's not like if someone tried to throw Young Thug in top five. You know what I'm saying? It's not disrespectful. Like if to say Eminem, if anyone said that Eminem is the best rapper ever or the best lyricist, like you have a valid argument for that.
Yeah.
Because of everything he's accomplished,
Yeah.
from going diamond to just like you say his wordsmithing, like you have a valid argument for it. So I don't know. I don't know why a lot of people they get like Eminem. I don't know, like what, bro. That shit's not outlandish, bro. That's not crazy for someone to
Yeah.
say. But I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of Eminem. Like I think he has some good music. But I've only listened to a couple albums all the way through because most of the shit just not my taste. You know what I'm
No.
saying?
Yeah.
One I'm from the South,
Yeah.
so that's a whole different. Like I didn't grow up to listen to DMX. I know some DMX shit because obviously it's hot, but I didn't like. I've never listened to a DMX album all the way through. Um, my parents didn't listen to fucking Eminem at all. I don't think I've ever heard my parents listen to Eminem song. They listen to like Pop, Biggie, Outkast, Goody Mob, uh, David Banner, UGK, like
Yeah.
mainly all South rappers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Besides Pac and Biggie.
Yeah.
But everything else, my parents are South or old ass R&B. Where they trying to fuck some. But
Old ass R&B. So speaking of that, you know how like on the weekend when we were growing up on the weekends and it was time we had to clean the house, right?
Yep.
And so mom put on some music,
Yep.
right? And you know those songs are still ingrained in us today,
I got a whole playlist for it.
right?
It's called Saturday Morning because every Saturday morning we was getting our ass up to clean.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So I thought to myself, I was thinking about that, right? And I was,
Yeah.
you know, reminiscing nostalgia, and I was like, I don't have kids, but if I were to have kids in the next 5 to 10 years, and we got up Saturday morning or Sunday morning to clean, what songs are on my playlist that they're gonna be? And so I put together. You want to hear some of the songs on it? I put together a playlist,
Yeah.
and I realized
Did you base this playlist off of? Well, go ahead.
so I realized that all the songs that our parents played when we were cleaning, they probably all came out within the span of 5 to 8 years. Like they weren't playing songs from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. They were playing songs from like mid to late 70s to like mid to late 80s.
I would say some 60s, yeah, but not a whole lot before that. Yeah, I agree.
So I realized as putting together my playlist of songs that I think would be, and when I'm talking about cleaning, it's not just cleaning, right? The sun's shining, the
Yep.
windows are open,
Yep.
right?
Got a little slight little breeze.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Joey, what's up, baby? You're live on episode 25 of Tattoo.
Oh, well, good afternoon, unencumbered and most honorable Chief Bruce C. Harry II. Swope. How you doing, sir?
No, I'm just going to edit all that out. Go on.
Oh, okay, nothing. I was actually calling because, since we're having a little get, I had an idea to throw your way.
Okay.
So I was talking to my friend Lance the other day, and he was just talking about how, like, general masculinity is kind of gone out the window in recent years, right? So, I say, when we hang out later, we dress to the absolute nines, get a pack of smokes, and have a couple glasses of whiskey, and just enjoy dressing nice, looking good, and doing man shit.
You want to wear like a suit?
Well, it doesn't have to be a suit, but I mean, a button-up at least, maybe some slacks, some nice shoes.
Some Peaky Blinders type shit.
Oh, it doesn't even have to be like dapper like that. Like, let's just look nice. No t-shirts. I don't
I
want.
feel like I always look nice.
Oh man, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, a little elegance, okay?
All right, I will. I will.
You know?
I will dress up for you, brother.
Hey, look, you don't have to dress up. It's just an idea I was throwing your way.
No, I'm gonna dress up now. It's too late.
You know, all right. Is old boy sticking around to hang with us?
Nah, he's got a.
What?
He's got homegrown responsibilities to tend to.
Right.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, hey, I'm on my way back from Richmond right now. Wait, look, if you don't want to dress up, we're not going to dress up.
I've already committed to it.
All right. Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Sounds good.
What do
I'll
you-
bring over some whiskey.
What are you looking at? What are you looking at for an E ETA?
So let me see here. I'm 10 minutes from the shop. I'm on my way back from Richmond right now. Cheyenne's out shopping, so if I get off in the next hour or so, then like it's really dependent on when Cheyenne gets back, so she can drop me off.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
All right, Brody. Well, I'll see you in a few hours then.
All right. Yeah. I'll give you a solid heads up, man. I'll see you soon.
All right.
All right. See you.
Come on. What was I saying?
That's Joey that we
Yeah.
play poker with, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. What was I saying?
Damn, I don't know. We was talking about rap.
And then we talked about Eminem not being in the top, whatever.
I was talking. Oh, your Saturday morning.
Oh,
cleaning.
that's right. Here it is. So I realized that my playlist spans decades.
Yeah.
Cause I got everything from "Shape of You" and "Thinking Out Loud" to Ed Sheeran. So we're talking.
Oh.
We got windows up. The fucking
Yeah.
the drapes are blowing with the beautiful breeze.
Right,
Right.
right.
Candles are burning.
Yep.
And we are getting to it.
Yep.
And this music is blaring. So I got things like "Shape of You" and "Thinking Out Loud" by Ed Sheeran, but I also got "Purple Rain."
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I got "Exchange" by Bryson. "Sorry Not Sorry" by Bryson Tiller.
Okay.
I got "Temperature" by Devin Terrell. I got "Best I Ever Had" by Drake. I got "Stay With Me." I got "So
So
Sick."
you got a wide range. See, all my shit is 90s and like mid 90s and before. Like
But see-
I don't have anything from the 2000s.
But I mean, I got that. I got "You Got It Bad." I got "So Sick" by Neo.
Mm-hmm.
"Sure Thing" by Miguel. "Killing Me Softly." "Ready or Not" Fugees. "Doo Wop" Lauryn Hill. Like "The Boy Is Mine" Brandy and Monica. "End of the Road" Boys to Men. "All My Life" Casey JoJo. Like I feel like "Smoking Out the Window" Bruno
Oh, yeah.
Mars and Anderson
You
.Paak.
put that whole album on there.
That entire album is fire.
But that entire album has
The
that
Weeknd, yeah,
early 80s, 70s
Yeah.
nostalgia to it.
yeah. But the point I'm when doves cry. So like the point I'm making is, I feel like the list that I'm like, the list you made is because you're making a list to try and emulate what your parents
Right,
did. The
right.
list I made is I'm trying to make my generation's version of what my parents did.
Right.
So I'm trying to do my version of that
Right.
for my age group. And I just feel like for us, for whatever reason, that time span is just spans way.
Well, I mean, I can tell you why. It's because with the amount of technology that we have
Mm-hmm.
and the access that we have, we've been able to churn out more artists and more music. You got to think
Yeah.
back then to drop music or drop an album, you first had to have a budget, some type of budget, not like a major budget where you go, but you had to have some type of money because you had to book the studio, had to get to the studio, had to record it, edit it, all this whole process, and then get it out to whoever you can get it out to. And if you didn't have the money to get it out to a large amount of people, your region around you will only know about it. But us, we got fucking computer, SoundCloud, all that shit. Where motherfuckers send with some mics just like us, record a song, boom, send out to millions. So I think that's part of the reason why our playlist extend so much more time because we had so much more musicians and churning out music.
I think you're half right. I think technology is half of the answer.
Yeah, we think the other.
The other half of the answer. I think the generation after me, right? I think the people that are 21 right now or 18 right now, I think their playlist is going to go back, snap back to.
Really?
I do. I think because we grew up without the technology in the very beginning, right? So we were forced to listen to whatever our parents listened to. We had to turn on the radio to listen to a song, right? You know what I'm saying? Not until we got to be a teenager did shit like Napster and LimeWire come out, right? And then ringtones. And then so because we started in the primitive years where there wasn't all that technology, right? So all that shit's ingrained into us. And now everything's instantly distributable from anyone, from anywhere.
Right.
Right? So we got that shit and we got because like there's no 18-year-old that's bumping Neo right now.
So you're saying basically because we have a foot in both eras,
Yeah.
we're able to be what?
I'm saying because we have a foot in both eras, both like generations of music speak to us, right?
So we're able to be more creative.
Not that we're able to be more creative. It's like
I think
it means like that those songs mean more to us because that's what we had and that's what we grew up with, right? So and then.
But why? So why? But why would that make the?
Because if you grow up, if from the second you come out the womb, you have a phone, internet, and headphones, I don't gotta listen to what my mom's playing in the car. I don't gotta listen to her music. If I'm cleaning the house, if I'm cleaning the house, I don't gotta listen to what mom's playing on because I got my headphones in. I listen to whatever I want. What's the hottest song on TikTok?
So people aren't able to expand their.
We started with what our parents liked. And then we got into what was popular, and then we got into what we liked, and what we liked is a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Now, like the younger people these days, all they care about is
what they care about,
what they like, and what is popular.
And there's nothing that forces them to get outside of that bubble.
Yeah. Like because think about it, I would not listen to the Spinners.
Right.
When I had a DMX album. Why am I going to listen to the Spinners? Right. Why am I going to listen to Whitney Houston?
Or what's the white boy that sing Carry On? That boy can sing though.
Like I'm not going to listen to those.
It's yeah. I see.
If I
had a choice, listen to Get Rich or Die Trying or The Whispers, I would have chose Get Rich or Die Trying.
Exactly.
But I was, you know, it's funny too. I was talking to my mom about that the last time they was up here because we was riding around and I was bumping like The Whispers and all this, and my mom was like, "Boy, when you was growing up, you ain't want to hear that." I was like, "Yeah, at the time, we didn't understand, what we was hearing. We were hearing it, but we weren't listening.
Yeah.
And then now, So yeah.
And it's not just that. It's also the nostalgia. It also because when you listen to that music, that's why verses are such a big hit. And the better verses are the ones that are with the artists that have been out the longest. Yeah. Because when they play that track, it takes you back to where you were when you first heard it. Yeah. And that's a lot of it too. Like
I think that's a major part of it. That's actually I think
it's like 80%.
As I said, it's a it's a big piece because if when I hear a song, it doesn't take me to a certain place or a person or a mind state, then it's just
next.
Yeah.
Skip.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
I just think so. I thought it was so. I feel like we're unique in that sense, where because we're kind of like we know what pre-internet is, right? And we're also fluent in technology. So like. Yeah, I don't know. So I thought that was interesting. I think my generation, our generation, you know, maybe my age, plus or minus 5 or 7, our fucking music library is going to span decades, and then it snaps back. And I think before us, it was small, like 10 years, and then after us, it'll go back to like 10 years.
I definitely think that our parents, like a lot of our parents' generation, their music library catalog was small too.
Well, because there's only so many artists. Just again,
Well, it
technology.
was only so many artists, and I think who you hung around
Mm-hmm.
really played an influence on it. So like my parents don't listen to country.
Mm-hmm.
I love country, but that was because I had access to other people and other demographics that listen to country that exposed me to country. Because I remember when I used to play. You remember we used to have the big old boom boxes or the big stereo system with you had the red and black wire that you had to make sure this
Yep,
if the
yep.
shit came loose.
You had the blank cassette tape waiting for the radio to play your song so you could hit record.
So I used to have one of those in my room, and my parents just come in there, you see him playing country. They're like, "Well, why are you listening to bluegrass?" First of all, it's not bluegrass. That's what we're not gonna do. But yeah, it's just like shit like that.
I
We,
put
we,
my,
was, we was exposed to so much more, and we had a bigger catalog of artists. And like you said, we have a foot in both. Like, hey, this is what the people that I hung out with listen to, but then I also have access to all this other stuff.
yeah, my parents. They at first they were like I wasn't allowed to listen to like DMX and Eminem. It's very violent music, and I was 11, so
Yeah.
like I get it. Right, I still listen to it, right? But like over the years, like I just kept listening to it, and it grew on them.
Mm-hmm.
So now my dad will hit me up like, "Hey, did you hear this new song that Wayne dropped?" I'm like, "Nah, pops, I'm gonna check it out though, right?" And like now you listen to their playlist, it's all their shit that they listened to growing up, and it's the new shit,
Yeah.
and they just kind of like my parents are very good at adapting. Like they're getting older, and but they're not like stuck in their ways old. You know what I mean? They're like they like new shit.
That's the other thing too. I remember like when I would get exposed to different genres of music when I would hang out with different friends or like their parents would take me somewhere. We didn't have a phone that would just listen to our own music. No, we had to listen to whatever CDs or
Mm-hmm.
whatever radio station they want to listen to, and that's got exposed to a lot of different music that way too. Or like when you go over to somebody else's house and they having a cookout
Mm-hmm.
and whatever station they listen to, and you like, oh shit, I kind of mess with it.
Yeah.
All right, hey,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing is like back then, there wasn't no rap country like crossovers.
No,
You know what I mean? Like there is
Nope.
today.
no,
Like you wouldn't have Imagine Dragons and Kendrick Lamar.
yep. Or
That
Morgan
wasn't-
Wallen and Lil Durk.
Yeah, that shit would not be happening.
Nope.
So
But
it's
George
there's some-
Strait was not making a song with Tupac.
No, it was not. But goddamn, that should have been fire. That shit would have been fire. Oh my god.
Everybody definitely had their own lane, but also too, people like were you trying to be unique too? That's another thing that I miss about music back then is that everybody instead of trying to do what they doing over here is like, nah, okay, they doing that. Let's try to create our own lane. Let's try to create something else. Try to be different. Where now I feel like everybody got the same flow. Like we was working out yesterday, playing a playlist on Spotify, and it was like every song, it was like the same type of flow, same tempo, same. I was like, bro, please turn this shit off. Bro.
Yeah.
If I want to hear the same flow, I will listen to one specific artist album.
Yeah. I tell you what, like I've been a long time. So basically, since it started, I've been a long time subscriber of Tidal ever since Jay-Z bought it. And I've had Spotify before. I've used Pandora. Never had Apple Music. But the one thing about Tidal,
YouTube music.
I did the trial on that. They're all cool. The one thing about Tidal, they are undefeated when it comes to like the playlists that they automatically curate for you. Undefeated. Like they're way better than any other. Like they're so. That's where they excel. That's what makes them different to me. Right. There's a lot of stuff that makes them different. If you like look in the details, like how much they pay artists and all that stuff,
Yeah.
makes them different. But like the difference that I benefit from on the daily is the curated playlist that they make for you. And they make like 6 of them, and it's like damn, and it's like I love when I can hear a song that's this is like one genre, right, and one era, and then the next song is another genre from another era, but it's still got like it's maybe they're both upbeat, or maybe they're both maybe they're both songs you would put on a gym playlist, but you would never thought to put them on the same playlist.
Oh yeah, I see what you're
And
saying.
then it's like, oh man, what like that transition, like going from this to that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because you're not listening to the same thing over and over again, but you're keeping the same energy and keeping it fresh. Man, I fucking love Title, dog. Like, Title's a shit. Yeah, but I think we've been filming for over an hour.
Damn.
But
I was tired today too.
me too, and obviously I have. I guess I gotta get dressed now. Gotta take a shower and get dressed up apparently. But all right.
All right, man. Another good.
All right, big dog. That's an hour and 10 minutes.
Jeez.